The vast emptiness of space stretched before the small human fleet, a collection of 12 sleek vessels that seemed almost fragile against the infinite darkness. Captain Sung Park stood on the bridge of the lead ship, his eyes scanning the holographic displays that flickered with intricate data streams. The Outer Rim territories were known for their lawless nature, a region where multiple alien civilizations competed for resources and strategic positioning. Most believed a human expedition this deep into unknown space was nothing short of suicidal. The Galactic Confederation had long dismissed human capabilities, viewing them as a young, primitive species barely worthy of diplomatic recognition. Aboard the lead vessel, the crew moved with a precision that betrayed years of intense training. J. Kim, the first officer, monitored the ship's adaptive systems. Each component of their vessels was designed to change and respond faster than any known alien technology. It wasn't about having the biggest weapons, but about having the most intelligent approach. Incoming scanner sweep, Hyun Choi announced from the navigation station. His fingers danced across the control panel, activating a series of quantum dispersal protocols that would make their fleet appear almost invisible to standard alien detection methods. The alien long-range monitoring stations picked up only the faintest hint of the human presence. To their sensors, the fleet looked like nothing more than space debris, weak, scattered, and completely non-threatening. Supreme Commander Valric of the Galactic Confederation leaned back in his command chair, letting out a dismissive laugh that echoed through the massive alien flagship. 12 ships? Valric's communication advisor, a tentacled creature named Miriam, pulled up the visual data. They looked like children playing at war. What the aliens didn't understand was the careful calculation behind every human movement. Each ship carried adaptive AI systems that could reconfigure defensive and offensive capabilities in milliseconds. They weren't just vessels, they were living, thinking entities designed to learn and transform with each passing moment. Captain Park knew the true power wasn't in overwhelming firepower, but in unpredictability. The human fleet had spent months studying alien communication protocols, weapon systems, and tactical approaches. They weren't here by accident. Every single movement was a carefully orchestrated plan. The ship's internal systems hummed with a quiet intensity. Advanced cooling mechanisms kept the temperature perfect, while quantum processors analyzed potential scenarios faster than any biological brain could comprehend. The crew moved with a calm efficiency that spoke of intense preparation. Hyun Choi noticed something interesting on his long-range scanners. The alien fleet was massive, over 200 ships positioned in what they believed was an impenetrable defensive formation. But to a trained human eye, it was nothing more than a complex pattern waiting to be disrupted. Captain, J. Kim spoke softly. System analysis complete. We're ready for Phase 1. Sung Park nodded, a slight smile crossing his face. The aliens thought they were seeing a weak, scattered human fleet. In reality, they were looking at the Yao, tip of a strategic spear that had been years in preparation. The 12 ships continued their silent approach, appearing slow and almost clumsy to the alien monitoring systems. But beneath that facade, complex algorithms were calculating every potential scenario, every possible defensive and offensive strategy. What the Galactic Confederation didn't realize was that this wasn't just a fleet. It was a message, a demonstration of human potential that would challenge everything they believed about humanity's place in the galactic hierarchy. As the distance between the human fleet and the alien armada decreased, tension built. The aliens continued to laugh, continued to dismiss. They saw 12 ships. What they didn't see was the culmination of human innovation, determination, and an unbreakable spirit of survival. Captain Sung Park watched the holographic displays, his hand resting lightly on the command interface. They were close now. Very close, and the aliens were about to learn a lesson they would never forget. The alien fleet's initial response was predictable, a standard intimidation protocol designed to scatter smaller vessels, massive energy weapons charged, creating brilliant arcs of destructive potential that would typically send most species into immediate retreat. Daesam Lee, The tactical specialist on the human lead ship watched the approaching threat with calm precision. Her fingers moved across specialized interface panels, each touch activating complex defensive algorithms that were anything but standard. The first alien warning shot passed between the human vessels, a massive energy beam that should have obliterated anything in its path. Instead, something unexpected happened. The human ships didn't scatter, they didn't run. They reorganized. Junho Kang, the communication officer, began sending what appeared to be random signal bursts. To untrained observers, these looked like meaningless electronic noise, but each transmission was a carefully encoded message that would soon cause significant disruption. Supreme Commander Valric's confidence began to waver. The 12 human ships moved with a mathematical precision that defied conventional understanding. They weren't just avoiding attacks, they were analyzing them. Each alien weapon discharge became data, each defensive maneuver a learning opportunity. The quantum adaptive systems within the human vessels began their real work. Where traditional spacecraft would require manual recalibration after each attack, these ships were changing instantaneously. Shields morphed, weapon systems redistributed, and entire ship configurations adjusted in milliseconds. One alien battleship fired its primary weapon, a massive plasma cannon designed to vaporize entire planetary installations. The energy bolt approached the human fleet with devastating potential. Most species would have been instantly destroyed, but these weren't most species. The targeted human ship didn't just dodge. It absorbed part of the energy, redistributed the plasma's destructive potential across its defensive grid, and then, most surprisingly, reflected a portion of the energy back toward the attacking vessel. Valric watched in disbelief as his most advanced battleship suddenly experienced multiple system failures. Communications went dark. Navigation became erratic. Weapon systems began to misfire. "Impossible," he muttered, his multiple eyes blinking in rapid succession. Daesum Lee allowed herself a small smile. The first phase of their strategic engagement was working perfectly. The aliens were operating under a rigid, predictable combat doctrine. Humanity's strength had always been adaptability. The human fleet wasn't just fighting. They were learning with every single moment of engagement. Each alien attack became an opportunity to understand, to adapt, to overcome. Junho Kang's communication systems began broadcasting a simple message across all alien frequencies. It wasn't a threat. It wasn't a negotiation. It was a statement of fact. We are not here to be dismissed. The alien fleet's formation started to break. Their perfect mathematically organized battle structure began to show unexpected vulnerabilities. The human ships moved like a living organism, each vessel connected through quantum communication networks that allowed instantaneous strategic adjustments. What the aliens saw as a weak, scattered fleet was actually a sophisticated, interconnected system designed to turn every potential weakness into an immediate strength. Each human ship contained more computational power than entire alien command centers. Commander Valric realized something terrifying. They weren't just fighting 12 ships. They were fighting an entirely new concept of warfare. The engagement continued, with the human fleet demonstrating capabilities that seemed to defy the known laws of space combat. They weren't just surviving. They were systematically dismantling the alien fleet's strategic capabilities. Daesum Lee tracked the battle progress. 12 ships against 200. And they were winning. Not through overwhelming firepower, not through superior technology, but through something far more powerful, an ability to think, to adapt, to transform in ways the aliens could never predict. The unexpected engagement was becoming something else entirely. It was becoming a statement, a declaration, a demonstration of humanity's true potential. The alien communication networks began to collapse in ways that defied their understanding. Captain Sung Park watched the holographic displays, seeing how each disruption spread like a carefully designed virus through the enemy's systems. Alien commanders discovered their most advanced battleships were experiencing simultaneous failures. Navigation systems went crazy. Weapon controls became unpredictable. Communication channels turned into chaos. Junho Kang's specialized communication suite was working perfectly. Each signal burst was more than just a message. It was a complex algorithm designed to break down alien technological defenses. The humans weren't just fighting. They were systematically dismantling an entire technological infrastructure. Supreme. Commander Valric's flagship suddenly displayed multiple warning signals. Red alerts flashed across every console. His advanced AI systems were being completely outmaneuvered by something they couldn't comprehend. "This is impossible," Valric muttered, watching another battleship lose all its defensive capabilities. The human fleet moved with a precision that looked almost like a choreographed dance. Where traditional military doctrine suggested direct confrontation, these 12 ships were implementing a strategy that was part technological warfare, part psychological manipulation. Daesam Lee tracked the progression of their plan. Each alien attempt to re-establish control was met with another layer of technological disruption. The humans had spent years studying alien communication protocols, understanding their technological weaknesses, and designing systems that could exploit those exact vulnerabilities. One by one, alien ships began to go dark, not destroyed, not blown up, simply disabled. Their systems became unresponsive, their crews confused and unable to communicate or defend themselves. Captain Park's voice broke the tension on the bridge. "Broadcast the message," he said simply. Junho transmitted. A single, clear communication across all alien frequencies. It was short, direct, unexpected. "We are not here to negotiate. We are here to demonstrate." The message wasn't a threat. It was a statement of fact. A declaration of humanity's true potential. Alien strategic advisors watched in horror as their most advanced defensive networks collapsed. These weren't random attacks. This was a systematic deconstruction of their entire technological ecosystem. The human ships used something far more powerful than traditional weapons. They used intelligence, adaptability, the ability to learn and transform faster than any known technological system. Each human vessel contained adaptive AI systems that could reconfigure defense and attack protocols in milliseconds. Where alien technology relied on preset algorithms and predictable responses, human systems were learning with each moment of engagement. Valric realized they were facing something entirely new. This wasn't just a military confrontation. This was a complete paradigm shift in understanding technological warfare. The quantum adaptive systems within the human vessels began displaying capabilities that seemed to break every known rule of space combat. Shields morphed, weapon systems redistributed, entire ship configurations adjusted instantaneously. What the aliens saw as a weakness, the small number of human ships, was actually their greatest strength. 12 vessels were moving with a collective intelligence that made 200 alien ships look like children playing a complex game. Junho continued sending signal bursts that appeared random but were actually highly sophisticated communication algorithms. Each transmission was breaking down alien technological defenses, creating pathways of disruption that spread faster than any traditional virus. Captain Park watched the progression with calm determination. They weren't just fighting a battle. They were changing the fundamental understanding of technological warfare. The alien fleet's perfect formation began to crumble. Their rigid military doctrine, which had served them for centuries, was suddenly revealed as a fundamental weakness. Humanity's strength had always been its ability to adapt, to learn, to transform. And in this moment, they were demonstrating that potential on the grandest stage possible. The technological landscape of the battle transformed with each passing moment. What started as a confrontation was now becoming a complete demonstration of human innovative potential. Daesam Lee's fingers moved across specialized interfaces, her eyes tracking multiple complex data streams. The human ships weren't just defending themselves, they were learning. Every alien attack became immediate data, processed and transformed into defensive and offensive strategies faster than biological minds could comprehend. Quantum adaptive. Shield systems began showing capabilities that defied traditional understanding. When alien weapons struck, the human ships didn't just block. They absorbed, analyzed, and redirected energy in ways that seemed to break fundamental laws of physics. Captain Sung Park observed the progression with calm intensity. Each ship contained distributed artificial intelligence networks that worked as a collective intelligence. They weren't 12 separate vessels anymore. They were a single adaptive organism. The alien fleet's most advanced battleships started experiencing systematic failures. Navigation systems went haywire. Weapon controls became unpredictable. Communication channels collapsed into pure chaos. Junho. Kang's communication systems were doing more than just sending signals. They were actively disrupting alien technological infrastructures, creating pathways of interference that spread like intelligent viruses through complex network systems. Supreme Commander Valric watched in growing horror. His 200 ships were being systematically dismantled by 12 human vessels that seemed to think and move as a single, intelligent entity. The key technological breakthrough wasn't about raw power, it was about adaptation. Where alien systems relied on preset protocols and rigid response mechanisms, human technology could learn and transform in real time. One alien battleship attempted to launch a massive plasma weapon. Before the energy could be fully discharged, the targeted human ship had already analyzed its frequency, structure, and potential trajectory. The weapon's own energy was redirected, causing catastrophic internal damage to the attacking vessel. Predictive combat algorithms worked at speeds that biological minds could never comprehend. Each potential scenario was calculated, evaluated, and responded to in microseconds. The human fleet wasn't just fighting. They were predicting and preventing attacks before they could even fully form. The distributed AI networks meant that if one ship experienced a challenge, the entire fleet would immediately adapt. Weaknesses became strengths. Potential vulnerabilities transformed into strategic advantages. Valric's communication advisor, a sophisticated AI itself, began sending desperate signals. But each transmission was immediately intercepted, analyzed, and neutralized by the human fleet's advanced systems. What the aliens saw as a small, insignificant fleet was actually a sophisticated, living technological system. These weren't just ships. They were thinking, learning, transforming entities that could reconfigure themselves faster than any known technological system. Daesam continued tracking the battle's progression. 12 ships against 200, and they were systematically winning by doing something revolutionary, thinking differently. The quantum adaptive systems showed capabilities that seemed to defy conventional understanding. Shields that could absorb and redistribute energy. Weapon systems that could predict and neutralize threats before they fully materialized. Communication networks that could break down complex alien technological infrastructures in moments. Captain Park understood something fundamental. Technology wasn't just about power. It was about intelligence, adaptability, the ability to learn and transform faster than your opponent could comprehend. Junho's communication systems continued sending intricate signal patterns. Each transmission was a complex algorithm designed to further disrupt alien technological networks. They weren't just fighting. They were demonstrating a completely new approach to technological warfare. The alien fleet's perfect formation continued to crumble. Their rigid, predictable systems were being systematically dismantled by an approach they couldn't understand or defend against. As another alien battleship went dark, its systems completely neutralized, the message became clear. Humanity wasn't just another species in the galaxy. They were something entirely new, something unexpected. The final moments of the battle arrived with a silence more powerful than any explosion. 11 human ships remained, surrounded by the scattered remnants of what was once a formidable alien armada. Only 17 alien vessels survived, drifting helplessly in the vast darkness of space. Captain Sung Park stood on the bridge, watching the holographic displays that showed the complete transformation of the battlefield. What had begun as a seemingly suicidal mission had become a defining moment in galactic history. Supreme Commander Valric's flagship hung motionless, its advanced systems completely neutralized. Communication networks that had controlled entire star systems were now nothing more than dead circuits. The Galactic Confederation's legendary military might had been completely dismantled by 12 human vessels. Junho Kang prepared a final transmission. It wasn't a threat. It wasn't a declaration of war. It was a simple statement that would echo through alien communication networks for generations. We are not who you thought we were. The quantum adaptive systems aboard the human ships continued to process the battle's data. Each moment of engagement had been a learning experience, a chance to understand and overcome. The fleet had done more than win a battle. They had demonstrated a fundamental shift in technological warfare. Daesum Lee tracked the final stages of the conflict. The human vessels hadn't just defeated the alien fleet. They had completely rewritten the understanding of what was possible in space combat. The surviving alien ships began a slow, defeated retreat. Their communications were fragmented, their hope destroyed. They had entered this conflict believing in their technological superiority. They were leaving with a completely shattered understanding of their place in the galaxy. Valric's communication systems struggled to understand what had happened. Sophisticated AI networks that had controlled entire star systems for centuries had been systematically dismantled by something they couldn't comprehend: human adaptability. Captain Park understood the deeper significance of their victory. This wasn't just about winning a battle. This was about changing how the galaxy perceived humanity. The 11 remaining human ships moved with a grace that seemed almost alive. Their quantum adaptive systems continued to analyze, to learn, to transform. Each moment was an opportunity for further understanding. Junho broadcast another message across all frequencies. Short, direct, powerful. Next time, don't underestimate us. The galactic communication networks would be discussing this moment for generations. A small human fleet had done what no other species had ever accomplished: completely dismantled the Galactic Confederation's most advanced military force. Alien research stations began immediate analyses. How had 12 ships defeated 200? What technological breakthrough had occurred? The humans had done something impossible. They had turned technological weakness into the ultimate strength. Supreme Commander Valric watched as his flagship systems continued to fail. Everything they had believed about technological superiority had been proven wrong. Humanity wasn't just another species to be dismissed. They were something entirely new. The surviving alien vessels began transmitting reports back to their home systems. Each transmission told the same impossible story, a story of technological innovation that defied everything they understood about warfare. Daesum Lee began compiling the battle's data. Every moment, every system failure, every unexpected adaptation would be studied. This wasn't just a victory. This was a complete paradigm shift. Captain Park knew this was more than a military engagement. This was a statement about humanity's potential, a demonstration that adaptability, intelligence, and innovative thinking could overcome seemingly insurmountable odds. As the human fleet began its return journey, the galaxy would never be the same. The Galactic Confederation had learned a fundamental lesson: never underestimate a species capable of transforming its weaknesses into strengths. 11 ships moved through the darkness, carrying with them a message that would change everything. Humanity had arrived, and the galaxy would never forget this moment.